Welcome to the Nurse to Nurse podcast, where we'll have inspiring and innovative conversations from one nurse to another, helping you leverage your experience, expertise, and education to build your personal brand and start a coaching practice. And now, here to help you unleash your magic in the world, your host, Starshima.
All right, let's talk about what is nurse entrepreneurship and how you can become one. Welcome, girlfriend. So let's talk about this nurse entrepreneurship that is a fast-growing trend right now in the healthcare industry. And let's talk about how you can become a nurse entrepreneur if you choose to. We're going to talk about the what, the why, give you some examples, as well as the how that you can get started. All right, let's jump into the content. What is nurse entrepreneurship? So nurse entrepreneurship is, again, like a fast trending industry that's trending now. When you look at the statistics, nurses who have been in nursing for about 1 year, about 60% of those nurses are exiting bedside. And if you look now, they say that they estimate about 70% of nurses to exit. So what are majority of these nurses doing? They're transitioning over into nurse entrepreneurship. And although it's so trendy and people are doing it, it is still widely unknown. I mean, I really feel like these are one of the things that they should teach us in nursing school. Would you agree? All right, so let's just jump into it. So that's what it is. Let's look at what is nurse entrepreneurship. So this is when a nurse begins to leverage their healthcare background, okay, looking at their experience, their expertise. Okay, then they take a little bit of that creativity. So they may be doing side hustles along their healthcare career right now. So they're taking that creativity, they're mixing that with a little bit of business, the business knowledge that they have. And then they're going on and they're using their strategies of investment to be able to grow their companies. I think it's really, really amazing what some of these people are doing. They're taking their healthcare background, they're mixing it with a little bit of their creativity, and they're having passion behind it, right? They are putting that emotion behind it to go after it and then investing in themselves accordingly. I see med spas coming up like no other. Nurses are taking that experience. They're doing concierge type services for people who are having like those BBLs. I mean, here's the thing, when you think about these things, they're smart, they're wise, and think about the freedom that they're given to themselves by being able to do something like this. I mean, the time freedom and financial freedom, and still being able to impact healthcare in a positive way, preventing patients from having BBL complications, making sure they're giving them the massages, getting the fluids off of them. They're taking that experience and their ability to be able to assess and going out and winning with their knowledge. So that is what it is. And why are nurses doing this? It really have a really, really profound impact on healthcare by really discovering those innovative type of ways to drive impact at the bedside, right? We're getting new tools, we're getting new systems, we're using new approaches to drive impact at the bedside. And not only is it just for the healthcare system, but think about what it would do for you as a nurse if you went into nurse entrepreneurship. And I know we sometimes will exchange our 3 12-hour shifts a week to now 7 12-hour shifts a day while we're building our dream, but we're building something that no one can take away from us. Now we're adding a new layer, because when we're working in healthcare organizations, we are building the things for the people, right? But what if you can build the things for you and give yourself that freedom in which you need? I think it is absolutely amazing, right? So I want you to think about this real quick. If there was something that you can do in healthcare, what would that be? Like, what can you use to do it, and why would you do it? Thinking about why we want a thing is really, really important. So why would you want to take what you know? Why would you want to mix your creativity along with your little bit of business sense and your investment? What would you create, and why would you create it? And think about why these other people are doing it. So let's give you some examples of nurses who were nurse entrepreneurs. So all those nurse entrepreneurship is becoming to be a trending topic. People are exiting bedside in droves. I mean, the nurses are leaving, right? Let's look at really, when did nurse entrepreneurship start? And when you think about in our education, right, way back when we was nurses, in the foundations and the fundamentals of nursing, they talked about Miss Clara Barton. Y'all remember Clara? Clara was a cool person, okay? What Clara did, Clara was a nurse, and this was about 1881, right? Clara was a nurse, and Clara was a great example of nurse entrepreneurship. She is the founder of the Red Cross. The great thing about looking at Clara and what Clara has done for us, right? Clara's organization that she founded back in 1881 is still driving impact in the world today, long beyond her years on earth. Like, just think about that, right? Like, they're talking about this thing is new, but this thing really isn't new. We're really not reinventing the wheel. We're just going back and looking at what has left clues to drive a greater impact in the world. And that is what Miss Clara Barton done. So you may be asking, Starshima, well, how does this really happen? I know you said that nurse entrepreneurship, nurses take their healthcare background, they take their creativity, and they use a little of their business sensibility, and they go out and they start companies. What the big three things that these nurses are leveraging right now, just like Miss Clara Barton did in her time of the founder of the Red Cross. One, she took her education, and you already have the qualification in your education. You are a nurse, right? You went in, you passed the NCLEX, you are working the bedside. So you have adequate enough education right now to utilize to go and start your company to become a nurse entrepreneur. The second thing that they put in the mix is their experience. What I really love about experience is because experiences makes us what we are as nurses, right? I think the nurse that I became at the bedside, what I was known for as a nurse was because of the years that I put in the game. And then in my years of what I put in the game, I learned new ways to do things. I learned new approaches, and I took my own creativity and made them mine and made them really, really great, right? I specialized in ER nursing. I specialized in OR nursing in my experience. And in those two different specialties, I learned so much, right? Think about what you know in your experience right now and the times that you spent in the game at the bedside, and think about what you can really do with that to change the trajectory of healthcare, to send it in a different direction that is going to last long beyond your years. Let me tell you what the third thing that people are using, their expertise. So these are the big three E's that I teach you to help you start your nurse entrepreneurship. It is your education, it is your experience, your expertise. The education you have, because of the experience that you put in the game, you're really ready to optimize, right? When you are ready to optimize, because you got knowledge that some people don't have, right? So you're really ready to take this thing to the next level, okay? So those are the things. I mean, I know we think about that this seemed like so foreign, that people aren't doing it. This has been since the beginning of time. This is nursing entrepreneurship. What are some of the industries I see trending right now where nurses are making a lot of money, right? So think about nurses. I talked about med spas. Nurses are taking their three big E's and they're going out and they're creating med spas, and they're providing concierge type services for these people who are going over and having cosmetic type surgeries. Perhaps they may be doing injections for the individuals. It just depends on their level, their education and expertise in what they're able to do within their practice, but they're still servicing bedside. I see people going out and becoming nurse coaches. And there's no regulation that says that you couldn't take your education, your experience, and your expertise and coach and educate someone. As nurses at baseline, what we do is we educate our patients because we don't want them to come back into our healthcare agencies. See, these industries and these organizations are using the very thing that is our magic to prevent their patients from coming back. Good patient teaching when you're discharging your patient, telling your patient when to take their medication, telling your patient when to return back to their doctor, teaching your patient about the signs and the symptoms of infection, and telling them what to do next is all education. And the benefit of education is for your organization, you're preventing that turnaround time back to your patient. So you are already driving this kind of impact. You are already doing this in healthcare already. It is now that you take that and you begin to build something for yourself that is still impacting healthcare. So coaches, there's tons of different coaches. I have mental health coaches. I have wellness coaches. I have fitness coaches, right? And this is one aspect that puts you in a category of one in these industries is because you're a nurse. When I think about going and working with a health coach to help me get healthy, I would love to work with a healthcare provider who I feel understands me and the human body versus someone who has no healthcare background. See, when we go into our fields and we position ourselves accordingly with our brands, understanding who our ideal audience is, we really eliminate competition, right? Because I know you're probably worried, like, Sarshima McGraw, you talking about this is the trending thing. Maybe people are exiting. Well, what says if there's room for me? I'm going to teach you that, right? I'm going to teach you that there's room for you by you leveraging you without changing who you are, positioning yourself in the market to make you a 6-figure, 7-figure brand, right? That people want to come back to because of the layer transformation. So that's the coaching, right? What else are they opening up? They're opening up healthcare staffing agencies, right? I know a few nurses just right now in my inner circle who have staffing agencies. And when I look at the numbers, nursebusiness.com, if you want to check the statistics, they show within a half a year that these people who are starting these healthcare staffing agencies are scaling their companies to 7 figures, like within a year. Amazing. And you think about, well, how's that happening? Well, there's always going to be a demand for healthcare nurses, always, right? So when you think about that, there's always going to be a demand. Why not take your education, your experience, and your expertise and leverage that? Think about your creativity because you know what nurses need that some people don't understand, right? And then you take that and then you put your business sense on it and you get your help and your support if you don't have that. You use your investments and then you put yourself in a category of one because, see, other people can't compete with you because majority of these people who are starting healthcare staffing agencies are not nurses. They're not relatable to other nurses. They're not relatable to organizations like you can be because you understand nursing and you understand what nursing needs. You know how to talk to your nurses. You know how to advocate for your nurses, which puts you in a category of one, right, with these spaces. So those are some examples, right, of what it is like. And then, of course, leveraging Miss Clara Burton. She started the American Red Cross. We still have the American Red Cross today, right? We can't get any of our things. I mean, we have to go through Red Cross for many of the things. Clara is still impacting healthcare today. I think that is really awesome. So I just wanted to tell you, like, girlfriend, this is what nurse entrepreneurship is. It's trendy, it's hot, and it's just beyond being something that's trendy and hot. But I think about, your time of what you're doing. Some of us are tired, and I said this on a social media post is because sometimes I feel guilty because I feel like I no longer have the capacity to serve at the bedside. Sometimes I feel guilty because I'm like, I should be helping, right? Nursing is at an all-time shortage, although when I went into healthcare, we were already short, right? But I feel guilty that I want to drive impact in another way. I want to do things differently that's going to help healthcare. Right now I'm educating nurses, future nurses, and I'm driving healthcare because the quality of the nurse that I put out or the quality of the nurse when a nurse experiences me in the classroom is going to be different. So I'm impacting healthcare, making a better nurse at the bedside, right? I think about how I coach nurses now to help them build their brands and to help them leverage their education, their experience and expertise and turn themselves into a brand that without changing who they are, right? that's going to give them the time and the financial freedom. The big thing why I think nursing entrepreneurship is because we come to a time where we can no longer serve, we can no longer work the compromising schedules, we can no longer do the things that's demanded of us at the bedside. We all get tired at some point. So understanding what is nurse entrepreneurship is for that person who may be tired right now and say, hey, I got to find a different way. And we have to be fully honest that nurse entrepreneurship is a very lucrative career. We have made tons of money working as nurses, right? But we did it at some cost. It was our time. It was at the expense of our families. It was at the expense of missing holidays. It was at the expense of missing the family vacation, right? But we've made some money. But what if I told you that you can make that money and so much more if you decided to really stop allowing organizations to leverage your education, your experience, and your expertise to win off of, but you decided to take hold of that, take charge of your future, take charge of your financial freedom and your time freedom, and you begin to use those things for you, that you took your creativity, that side hustle that you've been doing, those things that you've been selling, the Mary Kay products that you've been selling, the insurance that you've been selling, and you just said, I'm just doing this as a side thing, right? But you really, really want this side thing to really win for you, but you're concerned that the side thing can't give you the income that you need, that your job is giving you. I want to tell you that is a false reality and that is a lie. You are allowing that to be that because you're not giving that thing. You're not jumping full on into nurse entrepreneurship. You're not going all in because you have a false sense of reality. What happens when you get tired, nurse? What happens when you can no longer do the things that you're doing, nurse? Why not let's go out and leverage who we are, leverage what we have to create the time and the financial freedom that we need? How do we invest our money so we can have tax-free retirements, right? Some of us are working really, really hard to put that retirement away. But what if you got strategic in how to invest in a tax-free retirement right now while building your business that could never look like what it did in all the years of service that you've been with your organization? So that is the conversation for you. So this is nurse entrepreneurship. It is hot. It is trending. It is creating so much financial freedom for so many individuals, yet is still serving the bedside. Are you ready? You can be the next big brand. You can be the next big thing. You can have the next hot product. You can have the next hot service. Do you feel like you can do it? I just want to help you drive a greater impact in the world. I want to give you the knowledge because knowledge is power. Without knowledge, we are nothing. And without application of the knowledge, we are absolutely nothing, right? So it's time to apply the knowledge. If you like the content that I'm covering today, I want you to go over in the show notes. I have a link for you. There's a link to download the 7 key things that you as a nurse need to do right now to start establishing your personal brand. This is step number 1 in jumping into nurse entrepreneurship. See, I don't want you to make the mistakes that I made. I want you to win from this point of where I am forward, to be your guide, right? To be your guide, to get you to where you want to go, to get you to that time freedom, the financial freedom. Let's stop working these schedules that are not flexible, that are compromising. The big thing that made me leave bedside is when I got a call when I was in the OR. A patient was on the table, and I got a call that my son was having respiratory issues, and I could not leave and go to my son. That was the moment that I decided, I don't care how much money I made, that my children was most important to me, and I needed to find out how. And I needed to find out how that I can still make income, right? Still serve my family, but have the time freedom that I need. And I can tell you, when I left 4 years ago and what my life looks like today, it is so much different. So I just want to encourage you, you can be the next big nurse entrepreneur. What are the things that you would do? So I ask you this. If you can drive impact in the healthcare industry, leveraging your experience, your expertise, and your education, what would you do? And then the second question is, when you find out what would you do, who do you need to become to do this? And the third thing is, what type of support do you need? So again, I got something for you today because I want to give you a gift. Thank you for listening in. Click on the show notes, download my free guide, The 7 Keys to Building Your Personal Brand, the Nurses Edition. Go grab it. Go get it. Read it. And then I want you to visit me at www.iamstarshima.com/build my brand. And let's have a conversation. And we can keep this conversation going. Join the Nurse to Nurse podcast community over on Facebook. That link is in the show notes as well. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your journey. I'm excited for what you're ready to do. And I want to hear about it because I am here for nurses who are ready to change their landscape and what they're doing out in the world. All right, girlfriend, until we talk again, have an amazing, amazing week and go out and drive impact, leveraging every bit of who you are without changing who you are. You are the brand of you. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Nurse to Nurse. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you're feeling inspired and ready to build your personal brand and create a premium coaching practice in 90 days, visit www.iamstarshima.com/buildmybrand to start your journey today. For more information and updates, follow Starshima on Instagram at Nurse Coach Starshima RN and on Facebook at Starshima RN. Until next Friday, take care.